jump out of here. I watch Lucy Pyre's tanking in Final Fantasy XIV in 5 minutes or less video. I am White Mage main, but I play Warrior second. So curious to see how this goes.
It's about going fast. So fast that you knock the Earth out of orbit and become the enemy of the entire world. That's right. Tanking is all about the big pulls, baby! Healers are so used to bad tanks now that they'll fall into uncontrollable lust if you use arm's length. I mean, can you imagine? There are people out there who don't use this baby can fit so much mitigation inside of
they don't use
Please
it.
mitigate damage so you can last longer. You wouldn't want to be a 1 minute man, would you? So go right ahead and pick one. We interrupt this broadcast to give you a pop quiz. Here's the $1 million question. You queue into a dungeon and the DPS is pulling mobs ahead of you. What do?
You yell at them while provoking everything.
If you said you pull, you tank, then for the sake of Thancred's left ass cheek, just go back to DPS roles. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you you have to like it when DPS decide to pull ahead of you, but I am telling you that watching a DPS die and grieving the rest of the party by refusing to do your job is not the way. So if you're not ready to ignore the Leroy Jenkins, hop a Viagra
Leroy Jenkins. Now I will say, if I'm with friends and they know better and they're doing it, I'll say, hey, why are you doing that? What you doing, buddy? Why are you doing that there? That thing there that you're doing there. Point it out to them. But then we move on. Because we got shit to do. We got real lives. Let's go.
This might not be the role for you. But hey, that's why I'm here to help. There's a super pro gamer move that lets you avoid this situation entirely. Be faster. Pull before them. Use sprint. This is how you use sprint. Did you see that? Right before you pull the pack so you get that sweet, juicy, succulent 20-second sprint. Pathetic DPS have no hope of passing you. After all, you control the pace, and the pace is always full fucking throttle, baby! So, you're pulling big, you're rotating your cooldowns, and you are using your AoE rotation to maintain aggro for the love of fucking God. That means that by this point, you're already better than 90% of Duty Finder tanks, but there is still an elephant in the room. Boss fights. What about those? Well, don't worry. You see this little guy? You're gonna smack him, turn him around this way, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't clear the party. You may be
simple.
With large dungeon pulls, which I encourage
unless
you
there's
to
a
do,
lot of
mobs
tank
are gonna
busters,
pound you
but
way harder than the boss will. Don't save cooldowns for these wet noodle hits. There is one exception. Sometimes you will see this ominous red symbol on your character, which means you should probably use one cooldown. Yeah. Nice. Now, all that remains is choosing the tank you want to escape the city with. Every tank is similar, but they all have their quirks, so here's a crash course. Paladin, play this if you also like sparkly shit and you're still naive enough to believe in things like law and order. Warrior, play this if all you care about is being indestructible and you think being a dumbass is a lifestyle choice. Darkness, play this if you're compensating for something and your dad is still out looking for milk. And Gunbreaker! Yeah, just play this if you're a degenerate and you can't handle peace and quiet. And congratulations! It's time to receive...
I love, first of all, yes, Warrior. Dumbass is a way of life and it's perfectly valid, damn it.
You're tanking PhD, which means you're all ready for tanking content. Just don't forget this one little thing. Tank stands. Now coming in for special little flavors of the exact same thing. These days, if you blink at the enemy, it'll hit you for life. This groundbreaking modern technology is found only in Final Fantasy XIV, where tanks are just more defensive DPS. Join us today for just $12.99 a month. A new superiority complex guaranteed or your money back.
Warning, may cause cope Steve mold and gamer raging behaviors.
This isn't warning, this is not a real guide, actually. Oh my goodness. Well, that was great. Fun little guide. I mean, shit's on some pretty great points there as far as like sprinting through. I usually hit sprint right at the beginning because I'm impatient. I don't want to get to the first thing that I can smack with my axe immediately. But what she's saying is better about hitting it right before. I just want to smack things with my axe right away. So I might make that switch and try to be a little more patient and wait until right before I aggro everything to sprint. Or not. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. And definitely agree with what she said about the cooldowns too. Especially, tank-wise, I'm a warrior main, so I'm not really too super familiar with all the other classes and their cooldowns and things like that. But the warrior is just, the utility of the warrior in a boss fight versus in mob pools is just wildly different. The healing that a warrior can do in the middle of a mob pool is just fantastic. I have full brought myself from, all the way down to basically 1 hit point, all the way back up to full in a matter of about 2 hits before on mob pools. And it's just, it's just lovely. And this is one of the reasons why, like, in Eureka, so many people play the warrior as if they're playing a tank, because it's just the healing, like being able to solo stuff, like it just makes it so much easier. But then you get into a solo boss fight and it's just, it's still great. The healing is still great, but it is definitely not as powerful as it is when you're in a mob pool. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. If there's other stuff I should react to, please let me know in the comments. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.